Sometimes life happens and you are overwhelmed. Sometimes a day is just really hard. And other times you feel lately that it's every single day you are just stressed and you're overwhelmed and you do not know how to do this. You can't. So what I want to talk about today is how worshiping God can change that for you. So stress and anxiety, everything is basically in your head. So every situation in our head, we build it up, we break it down, we make it big, we make it small, we get overwhelmed by our thoughts. So if it's a situation and you meditate on that situation the whole time, then you can either see it as it is, or you can make it this massive mountain in front of you that you are not able to overcome. Sometimes the situation is big, and then God can definitely help you through it. But sometimes it's as simple as spend time with God, worship God, and while you do it, and as you worship God, He will become the God that He is in your mind. You will know Him for who He is, and you will see the problem for what the problem are. And sometimes you can't do anything about the massive problem, and it is a big problem. But then God says that He gives you supernatural peace, a peace that's not from this world, because you know who your God is and you know God is fighting for you and God will break through for you. And God is the overcomer. God is almighty. He's the God of all. So then you know and you meditate on who God is. Then you know who He's fighting. Then you know who David is and you know who Goliath is. David knew who God was. Doesn't matter how big that giant was. He knew how big God was. Even in the natural, Goliath looked enormous and everyone was afraid. For Noah, he had faith in God, even though the world was chaos, but he had faith in God. So God came through for him. So it doesn't matter what's going on in the world. And it's easy to say, but if you know who God is, then chaos can be all around you because you have inner peace. The anxiety will fade away. The stress will fade away. The I can't do this will fade away. Because sometimes we just can't and we just need to let go. And God says that I will fight for you. So what I want to challenge you today is go to God, sit at His feet, close your eyes and worship God. If you do not know where to start, David, in all the Psalms, it's so beautiful how he just acknowledged God for who God is. God, you are the beginning. You are the end. You are almighty. You are holy. You are able. God, you are the overcomer. You are my provider. My bank account doesn't provide for me. You provide for me. God, my circumstances doesn't bring me joy. You bring me joy. You bring things into my life that gives me joy. Lord, I do not need anything, but I need you, Lord. You are the one I need. You are the one that can. You already did. God, you are beautiful. You make everything. I love you, Lord. And write down what He has already done for you. And thank God. God, I thank you for my husband, my beautiful husband and children. Thank you for blessing me today. Thank you that I had food to eat today, Lord. Whatever it is, you provided yesterday and He's going to provide today. He's going to give you that breakthrough that you've been praying for. But then you need to sit at His feet and you need to worship Him so that all of your problems can get into perspective, so that God can be the top. So you take yourself, your problems off that throne, this massive mountain you break down, and you put God at His place where He's supposed to be. God is a wonderful, loving God that provides for you, that loves you. And in this week, last week, um, we were reading Bible, and afterwards we were watching this animation, a video of the crucifixion. And Lily Grace, she said in Afrikaans, ek het ook 'n doring in my voet gehad. And Caleb, on the other hand, Lily Grace is only turning 3, and Caleb is 6 years old, but he was crying and his heart was breaking because he saw what Jesus did for him. He knew who Jesus is and he saw it and he understood it. Where Lily Grace, she hasn't spent that much time yet with Jesus and she doesn't fully understand him yet. So for her circumstances, what happened to her thorn in her foot was massive, the same amount of pain. She could relate to Jesus, even if she couldn't. She thought she could relate because her pain was bigger or the same. But meanwhile, what Jesus did for us, nobody can go through. And Caleb understood that moment, that what Jesus really did. So if you spend time in the Word, if you spend time with God, He will break through for you and He will be so big and massive and your faith will grow in Him that you will be assured you will win the battle in your mind and the anxiety and the stress will fade away. So I challenge you to spend a half an hour today, set an alarm, go spend an half an hour and just worship God. Go read the Bible. One of the scriptures, John verse 4:21. The hour is coming and is now here when the true worshippers will worship the Father in spirit and truth. For the Father is seeking such people to worship Him. God is seeking, God is longing for you to worship Him. And if you spend time with Him, you will see how He will win your battles for you. Have a blessed day.